you are also of an age wherein probably starting around 7, 8 years old, a lot of your quote unquote downtime was device anchored. So you had a tablet, and then you got a phone. And so we are increasingly less interior. We're not alone with our thoughts, we're alone with the device. And the device is incessant bombardment, detaching you away from your inner self. And when I'm leading the whole school and chapel, I see the discomfort. And now you're alone with just you. You're not alone in the room, so to speak, but you're alone in that you have no appendage, the phone, to anchor you. And so I think that's really, really, really critical. Like, if you want to learn to be reflective, then you have to give up the distraction.
And I think, Shaurya, you said the magic word. You are alone. I believe you've talked about meditation before, have you not?
Yeah.
Right? And like, the act of meditation is so restorative to your brain. We know that science says you need to relax your brain at certain points in times and do that in a mindful way. Meditation, as you know, is not just relaxing your brain, but it's becoming more and more mindful. But I think that what we see are, kids walk out of class, they're all walking across campus like this. Like, slow down, digest some of what you just learned, reflect on what you just learned, and maybe that's a skill that we need to talk about.
Bill said it perfectly. I mean, the number of times I've drove at a gas station and look at the car over, and there's a mom on her phone and her daughters that are on her phone on the side seat, and you walk into a restaurant and there's 4 people, the entire family sitting there on their phone. And not only is it a distraction to yourself that you can't comprehend and understand your own mind, I think that it also destroys your relations with others, the lack of presence. And I love this topic a lot because I think it's been one of the biggest themes of the last year of my life. About a year ago, I made the decision to delete all social media, to delete most of the apps off my phone, and I lowered my screen time from about 4 hours to 20 minutes, which I hold today, that I barely use my phone. I track the number of times I pick it up. I try to pick it up less than 10 times a day when I really need to use it for something like call a family member or start a timer for something. And I've made a few changes to my life in the last year, but there's nothing that I can describe as life-changing as compared to
that
lowering the screen time on my phone, because you really get pulled out of the bubble and you see the world for where it really is, and see the distracted nature of people, their fleeting presence, that they're not even there sitting with you often. And lowering the time I spend on my phone, it's improved my mental state. I think, as I was talking about the nature of reflecting, I think that grew when I stopped using my phone a year ago, and the last year of my life is because of that. I've been more reflective. I've been able to observe maybe the flaws and peculiarities of my own mind, and I think we all have them, but we just try to ignore them, or we try to hide away from them because it's scary. It's the second you, as you described, you're sitting alone in a chapel with no distraction, it's painful sometimes. And sometimes when I sit back and ask myself, why is it painful? Like, what is driving me to do what I do? And I sometimes realize that I'm just being ruled by desires. I'm being ruled by human nature elements of desire to be validated, desire to feel like I'm socially in a crowd. And so much of those desires ruled who I was for so many years of my time in high school and middle school. I think this craving for validation. But I'm happy to say that in the last year it's gone away. I've observed it so much. I've, as you've said, meditated and been present with it. And I don't have that craving anymore of feeling the need for people to like me. And that's allowed me to explore my interests even further.
When you can control your own impulse, like, that's a triumph. And the speed and scope of the device just broadens the impulse. And so the apps that I took from my phone that gave me peace, I removed all of the news apps, because there was a stretch where literally like the New York Times was killing me. It was just more and more reason to be angry or sad. And so I just deleted it altogether.
Hey, Mark, I'm going to ring the alarm for like 1 second. You guys will have to leave.
That's all right.
You can edit it out.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
There's a book you should read
Okay.
called Fear of Insignificance. And basically what they're saying is that the constant, social media thing, constant posting, constant trying to, I suppose that it's still beeping,
I'm sure it'll turn off.
is like, we just don't want to be insignificant, right? And so we're posting and posting and posting as a culture, right? We're posting because it makes us feel significant. But that significance only lasts for an hour, 2 hours, right? The people stop commenting on your post in like 9 hours, and then it's all over. And so what do you have to do to feel significant again?
A new post.
You have to post again, right? And it's that rabbit wheel. Or you look at, they talk a lot about dopamine addiction. So you see something, you like it, dopamine, and you go and see it
How to
again.
design the
dopamine.
apps.
Yeah, exactly. Anyhow.
And you were also talking about the news when the fire alarm went off.
I'm dealing with, every chapter of the American political horror show. And so I just said, all right, I'm taking this off my phone. And then I take sabbaticals from social media apps. So I will announce, like, all right, see you all in a month. And I would like to really abandon most of the apps altogether, but I have to work to do that. So I've taken to collecting addresses. I still send postcards. And I'm just going to have to whittle down to the 22 people that I really talk to, as opposed to my 1,100 followers.
I found the opposite. To be really honest with you, by getting rid of social media off my phone and by not looking at Twitter and Instagram, Facebook, right? I find that I'm more measured and more capable of looking at the news without a tremendous amount of affect.
Okay.
I'm more logical about the news without social media sort of like informing my rage.
If I spent time and thought about it, I would probably come to that understanding. So all of my periodical reading is in one place, and I try to have it be arranged. But what I have done is I don't follow the same people in social media, and the people who are dear to me, who get on their own soapbox, like I'm able to say to them, like, don't tag me in your mess. Like, I don't want to be bothered. And I have friends, like, I unfollow. Like, I will go to their page or go to their account and see what they're doing, but I don't want to be part of their notification circle. And the other thing that I've done, and it's very easy for me, is I have no real active connection to television. Like, not even to streaming services. I just don't have the drive. But I didn't have a television for a long, long time. And I've never had a TV. I've never had a TV in my room as an adult. So like the rules in the house are no devices in bedrooms, no televisions in bedrooms. And for the most part, our phones stay downstairs.
That's good.
And that was pretty easy to do. But where we struggle, and we're going to address it, is we eat dinner and we will agree to watch something together, but then we still sit on our islands. She has her phone, he has his tablet, I have my laptop, but we're quote unquote watching something together. So we're moving toward, no tech days. Like on this day, you can't have a device in this space. And so it's just like, all right, that's fine.
I'm gonna call security. I think he forgot to turn that strobe light off.
Sure.
What was his name? Who's his
Roddick.
name? What is it?
Roddick.
Roddick.
I actually have to go cook dinner anyway.
Yeah, you can let me know whenever you want to close off.
I'd be happy to do this again.
Okay.
That's no problem.
Do you want me to make this call, or are we done?
Let's call him anyway. 'Cause,
Okay.
So what was the foundation for your education and access to this as a vehicle and platform?
I would say I was more on the side of a normal person in terms of content consumption a few years ago, where if I was, my free time, I'd spend it like watching sports and watching
Hey,
television,
Roddick, this is
Netflix.
Craig Dale. We're over in Long Street, and the strobe light is still going off here.
And I think that about maybe a year ago or so,
Thank you so
I
much.
kind of started to cut
Thank
that
you.
off more slowly over time, but more started to realize that I was kind of wasting my time. I started to get this feeling that if I'm watching a basketball game or I'm watching a movie, I got this feeling as if, why is he living my life for me? And that was a feeling that made me feel as if I'm sitting on my couch watching someone play basketball instead of going out and playing a sport myself.
There's a great quote for you.
I realized during COVID when I was like falling in love with all these photographers on Instagram. Oh, Instagram is so cool! I get to see all these photographers. But when I put my phone down from looking at Instagram, I was really feeling crappy about myself. Like this guy's in Greece making these beautiful. This guy's over here. This was over here. This was over, and I ended up feeling really kind of like I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing enough. And I was allowing Instagram to sort of like set a bar for me that I was never going to hit.
Well, there's two problems with that, right? Because first of all, the things you see on Instagram are probably not real. They're just collections of the best moments of someone's life portrayed to you and make you feel as if you're not able to meet that threshold for some reason when they're not showing you all the other aspects of their life.
Yeah.
And second of all, when you see everyone all their time, all their best moments, your expectation of what constitutes a normal, fulfilling life increases so high that the threshold between where you believe you should be compared to where you are is always in this negative region, which is why I think a lot of people's life is colored by the sense of unsatisfactoriness that they go about their day, they go to school, they do their sports, but there's always a sense of lack that I think is input into their minds through the content consumption as you've described.
Yeah.
French philosopher Jacques Rancière.
I was going to go with Guy Debord now for French philosopher. This is where we are.
To be a spectator is to be separated from both the capacity to know and the power to act. So you just sit there, getting stupid. Yeah. And you just forget how to do something.
Yeah.
Guy Debord he wrote a book called The Society of the Spectacle. He wrote it in 1967, but if you read it, it reads like he wrote it yesterday. Because what he says is that our lives are separating from the reality of our lives. He wrote this in 1967. And he said people are separating into the idea of self and the actual self down here, and our society is based in spectacle.
If you enjoyed that clip, then click here to see the full, unedited length podcast. Make sure you click here to see the full podcast, and don't forget to like and subscribe.